Hello Geeks and Gamers, Matt Lemke here with 3 Gamer Goggles, and we are at Gen Con 2015. And I am with, I want to call you Christian.
Christian is the other guy, Duncan Molloy.
Duncan. And he is, I guess you're kind of like the game editing-in-chief designer for Osprey?
For Osprey's board and card game line. Osprey's produced war games for years, and they're still run by the same team. Phil's still doing a bang-up job on them, but I've been hired to, I suppose, be the lead editor on our entire board and card game line. So I'm doing some designing of some games that are going to be coming in 2017. Rules writing, retheming, playtesting, all of that stuff. So if you want to blame anybody for the art on any of your favorite games, I'm the one that you should find out.
And they've got 2 games here, well 3 actually if you count Frostgrave.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a rule set in a book, so it's not as tangible as eye candy. And they've got some great minis here for it. That's a skirmish game for wizards, primarily.
Frostgrave is a skirmish game with a campaign and leveling system. So the idea is there's this magical city that's been frozen for 1,000 years and it's now started to fall. So you will play a wizard from one of 10 schools of magic, and you bring your apprentice and your hired goons into the city to raid it for treasure. But you're coming up against both monsters and traps and magic that's laid dormant in the city, and also other people with the same idea as you. So you can go in, grab as much treasure as you can and get out. You can go in and try and attack the other war bands. You can have a lot of back and forth, and then there's a campaign and a leveling system between games where you can upgrade your wizard, learn new spells, improve your casting ability in existing spells, or spend your gold on upgrading your soldiers or hiring recruits. Great little game.
And then we have,
I believe it's already sold out in the US. We're getting a reprint.
Really?
Yeah, it'll be back in about a month and a half.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And then we have The King's Dead, which is, which edition?
First edition. So it's a re-implementation of King of Siam, which came out about 10 years ago. And it was a beautiful game, but I felt like it could do with a theme that fit the game a little bit better and a set of components that fit how fantastic the game is. So we've set it in Arthurian Britain. The idea is that King Arthur united the 3 tribes of the Scots, the Welsh and the Romans, but didn't leave an heir. So players will be playing as people who are vying to be declared the next king or queen, and you won't be playing as one of the 3 colours, one of the 3 tribes on the board, but instead you want to be backing the winner by the end of the game. So the game will be played over the course of 8 power struggles, 1 for each of the provinces, and each player has a deck of 8 cards that they can use to influence the position of pieces on the board, or to slightly rearrange, to add pieces to the board. And every time they play a card, they take whatever action is on the card, and then remove a piece from the board and place it in front of themselves as their own influence within that particular group. At the end of the game, whoever has the most influence within the most powerful group will win, but because you're removing influence from the board, if you remove too much influence in one colour, you're undermining that group's ability to gain control. So you have to play quite a clever, paced game of trying to second guess and outbluff your opponent. I really like it. It's a really, really simple set of rules, but really complex consequences, which is awesome.
Something's going right, because every time I walk past the booth, there's no sitting room. So
this interview was delayed by 15 minutes because we were just wrapping up a game.
And it's just like, wow. And then we have They Come Unseen, which is quite interesting. This is, you said September-ish it'll be out?
October.
October
for They Come Unseen, September for The King's Dead.
And I'm holding the only copy in my hands.
So They Come Unseen, the history of They Come Unseen is nearly as exciting as the game. Andy Benford, who's a former Royal Navy submarine commander, was at sea during most of the Cold War. And because it was the Cold War, they were on active duty all of the time. But also because it was the Cold War, they weren't ever actually engaged. They weren't for a given value of war. So to entertain themselves while they were at sea, he invented a subhunting board game. They built the board in a piece of aluminium, mounted it to one of their tables, and used to play with magnetic pieces. So you get captains of different Royal Navy ships or Royal Navy submarines playing this against each other while they were at sea. And it was never been produced. He tracked us down about a year ago. We got in touch with them through the UK Games Expo, and it's just a really modern feeling game for one that has been around and designed and refined since the 70s. It's an asymmetrical strategy game. One team is playing a crew of NATO submarines who are operating on either a hidden board, which is kept secret from the other side, if they're below the surface, or on the main board if they're operating at the surface. Their job is to attack 4 of the 6 Soviet ports on board. The Soviets don't know which 6th. Meanwhile, the Soviet players are controlling a team of destroyers and a fleet of logistics ships. They're using the destroyers to try and hunt down the submarines, using sonar search, and they're using the logistics fleet to move their resources around between the different ports to make sure that no one port provides 2 valuable targets. Really, really lovely hidden movement with a bit of military strategy. Plays in about 90 minutes if you're reckless, or plays in about an hour if you're reckless, but averages about 90 minutes. There's a nice little mechanic whereby, because it's pre-nuclear submarines, it's a fact, which I only discovered during the game, they operate on a battery. There's no limitation to how long they could stay below the surface, but there was a limitation to how far they could travel. So every so often, the NATO players, once they've moved a certain distance, they're going to have to pop up on the surface on the main board. The Soviets are going to have an idea of where they are, move for 3 spaces to run a diesel engine to recharge their batteries, and then dive again. So this is really, really nice bit of cat and mouse going on, where the Russian players are trying to, the Soviet players are trying to keep track of where they think the player last was, how far they think they've moved, which targets they think they might be going for, and then using that to go in and try to build them. It's very satisfying.
Satisfying, that's a good word for a game. So, after these, what's coming around?
I can't tell you anything yet beyond that we will have between 6 and 8 games coming out in 2016. The plan is to bring out 1 or 2 games a quarter now, perpetually now. Osprey has been producing war games for a long, long time. We really know what we're doing, and we've got a really, really nice line of new product coming out that's going to be beautiful to look at, but still really crunchy and entertaining.
Are they going to focus on the tabletop side, or are they going to be a mix and mash of?
So the war game line is still running entirely. In terms of my stuff, we've got a Christmas-themed card game in October called Secrets.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Which is about proving to your friends and family that you're a better person, which is good fun. We've got books and parlour games coming out with a tiny game series, so contemporary game designers creating tiny little parlour games that you can just play with whatever's around you. So we've got a book called Tiny Games for Work and Tiny Games for Home, and that are all just little 10-minute games, 15 minutes. We've got a game with a Norse mythology theme coming. We've got a card-based party game coming. It's going to be very, very fun. We'll have ready for next year. Some sci-fi stuff, some fantasy stuff.
So it's broad.
Very, very broad.
I don't think I really have that many more questions, so if you're done...
I am happy. Thanks for having me.
Alright. No, thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Sorry about my voice.
Thank you guys for watching. Yeah, that's why we're in the hallway instead of the exhibit hall. He's done. He's done. But yeah, thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys.